They said courtroom silence is sacred. But on that day, silence cracked like glass. All it took was a teenage girl, standing up for her mother. It started with a smirk. The judge looked down from his bench, eyes cold, voice dripping with condescension. "Miss Carter, you expect me to believe you understand the terms of this custody agreement?" Her mom stood frozen, her diner uniform still stained from a double shift. Hands trembling, voice barely a whisper. "Yes, Your Honor. I just want what's best for my daughter." The courtroom chuckled. Not loudly, but loud enough. Even the opposing attorney smirked. In that moment, Hailey Carter, 16, invisible, underestimated, felt heat rise to her ears. She wasn't just watching her mother get mocked. She was watching history repeat itself. No one in that courtroom knew who Hailey really was. They saw a poor girl from Southside, living in a rundown apartment. Daughter of a single mother who worked 2 jobs. No lawyer. No money. No chance. But they didn't know what Hailey was capable of. Not yet. Let's go back. Hailey had always been different. Quiet. Observant. The kind of kid who preferred libraries to parties. Her teachers never really noticed her, until she began correcting their grammar in papers. Until she started winning debate competitions. Until she began reading legal briefs for fun. While her friends watched TikToks, Hailey watched court hearings on YouTube. She admired Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Memorized landmark rulings. And at night, she'd help her mom read court documents. Her mom, Monica Carter, wasn't uneducated. She was exhausted. Life had buried her beneath bills, broken promises, and minimum wage. The custody battle started when Hailey's father, who'd abandoned them years ago, decided he wanted his rights back. Not because he loved her. Because he didn't want to pay back child support. He could afford a slick lawyer. They could barely afford bus fare to court. Still, Monica stood tall. Even when the judge cut her off. Even when the lawyer twisted every word she said. But Hailey saw it. The prejudice. The bias. The assumption that a working-class black woman didn't deserve to raise her own daughter. So, Hailey did the only thing she knew how to do. She researched. She wrote. She studied every legal precedent related to their case. And when the judge finally turned to her. "Well, Miss Hailey, do you have anything to say before I make my ruling?" He was mocking her. Giving the kid a voice, for show. But Hailey stood. Took a breath. And spoke. "Your Honor. I believe the court has overlooked several facts that are relevant under Troxel v. Granville, as well as Santos v. Kramer." The courtroom fell still. The same teenager they dismissed as just a child was now citing U.S. Supreme Court cases, accurately. The judge blinked. She continued. "Under the 14th Amendment, my mother has a fundamental right to parent me without unnecessary government interference. She's never been charged, never been accused of abuse or neglect. The only argument here is financial status. But poverty is not a crime." Even the court reporter paused to look up. "And if this courtroom is truly committed to equal protection under the law, then you will consider character. Not just income. Sacrifice. Not just status." Hailey's voice didn't shake. She stood taller than she ever had. Monica's eyes welled with tears. Not from fear this time, but pride. The opposing lawyer cleared his throat. "Objection, Your Honor, she's not licensed." "She's also not wrong," the judge muttered under his breath. What followed was 10 seconds of silence. And then, the judge leaned forward. His face unreadable. "Well, Miss Carter, it seems your daughter has done her homework." He turned to Monica. "Would you permit her to speak on your behalf for the remainder of this hearing?" Monica hesitated. Then nodded. Eyes still wet. Hailey stepped beside her mother. And for the next 20 minutes, dismantled the case with calm precision. Case law. Social context. Personal testimony. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She argued. And for the first time, the court listened. But just as the tide began to turn, the courtroom door burst open. A new figure entered. Slick suit. Clean-shaven. A briefcase in hand. "I apologize for the delay, Your Honor. I'm here representing Mr. Carter. As of this morning, I've taken over his counsel." Everyone turned. Even Hailey froze. This wasn't just a new lawyer. This was Marcus Vell. A high-profile, Harvard-educated, courtroom bulldog. Known for one thing. Never losing. The judge's eyes narrowed. "Very well, Mr. Vell. We were just about to wrap." Vell smirked. "Oh, I'm sure. But I'd like to motion for a full character evaluation of the minor and her mother, including financial records, academic standing, and housing conditions. If they want to play law, let's play law." Hailey's heart dropped. He was going after everything. Their home. Her school. Her mom's job. This wasn't about custody anymore. It was war. And just like that, the judge approved the motion. Monica gasped. Hailey clenched her fists. She'd come prepared to defend her mother. Not to destroy her father. But now, she might have to. What she didn't know was that Marcus Vell had a secret. One that could change everything. And she was about to find it. Hailey didn't sleep that night. She sat in the corner of their cramped apartment, floor scattered with case files and a borrowed laptop buzzing from heat. Her mother, Monica, had gone to bed exhausted, defeated. But Hailey? She was just getting started. Marcus Vell's sudden appearance had shifted everything. This wasn't a courtroom anymore. It was a chessboard. And Vell had just moved his queen. Hailey knew what he was doing: drown them in motions, subpoenas, evaluations, make their lives so difficult they'd quit. But he underestimated one thing. Hailey Carter didn't know how to quit. She started digging. And then she found it. It was buried deep in a public record request. A real estate document. 5 years old. Signed by none other than Marcus Vell. He had once represented a developer that tried to force out low-income tenants on the South Side. One of those tenants was Monica Carter. He lost. Badly. Because Monica, without a lawyer, had shown up to the city zoning board and read every line of the lease. She had humiliated him. And now, Hailey realized this wasn't just legal strategy. This was revenge. Back in court the next day, Marcus was all smiles. He brought charts. Records. Photos of their apartment building from unflattering angles. "Your Honor," he said, "the living conditions are clearly unfit for a child preparing for higher education. Mold, rust, shared utilities, this is not a stable environment." Hailey watched her mom shrink into her seat. Then Marcus looked directly at Hailey. "With all due respect, no amount of book smarts can substitute for a clean, structured, financially secure household. This child's potential deserves more than hope. It deserves results." Hailey stood. "May I respond, Your Honor?" The judge hesitated. Then nodded. Hailey walked forward slowly. Looked at every face in the room. "Mr. Vell is right about one thing," she began. "I do deserve better." A pause. But better isn't about wallpaper or square footage. It's about love. Safety. Sacrifice. She reached into her folder and pulled out letters. From her teachers. Her coach. Her guidance counselor. Each one testifying to her excellence. And her mother's unwavering support. Then she placed a photo on the judge's bench. It was Monica, tired but smiling, at Hailey's school awards ceremony. "I've won scholarships. I've passed AP exams. I'm being interviewed by Ivy League schools. And I did all of that, while living in the apartment Mr. Vell just insulted. She looked at him now, eyes calm. So don't tell me where I live defines who I am. The courtroom was dead silent. Even Marcus Vell looked, momentarily stunned. The judge leaned back in his chair. Well said, Miss Carter. And just when it seemed like Hailey had regained the upper hand, the bomb dropped. Marcus smiled, slow and sharp. Your Honor, with your permission, I'd like to call a surprise witness. The judge frowned. This is a custody hearing. Not a trial. But Marcus held up a form. Signed. Stamped. The doors opened. And a woman walked in. Mid-30s. Hair pulled back. Expensive suit. And eyes that locked straight onto Monica. Monica froze. Her face went pale. Her hands trembled. Who is this? The judge asked. Marcus folded his hands. This is Ms. Denise Parker. Monica Carter's former co-worker. She's here to testify under oath that Miss Carter once left her underage daughter home alone during an overnight shift, against company policy, and possibly the law. A gasp rippled through the room. Hailey's heart dropped. That's not true, she whispered. But Monica looked down. Silent. The judge glanced at Monica. Is this accurate? Still nothing. And then Hailey saw it. That same look her mom had when they got the first eviction notice. When they couldn't afford heat that winter. When she pawned her wedding ring to buy Hailey's school laptop. It wasn't guilt. It was shame. Because it was true. Years ago. One night. Hailey had the flu. And Monica couldn't call out without losing her job. So she left. For 6 hours. Hailey had been fine. But now, it was evidence. And Marcus knew it. The judge sighed. We'll reconvene tomorrow. I'll review the testimony. The gavel hit the wood. And just like that, the room emptied. Hailey and Monica sat in silence. Outside the courthouse, cameras were beginning to appear. Word was spreading. The teenage girl taking on a judge. The courtroom prodigy. The working mom on trial. But inside, Hailey felt like the ground had disappeared beneath her. She had fought so hard. Spoken so clearly. But none of it mattered now. They were going to lose. Unless she found something bigger. Something that not even Marcus Vell could explain away. She opened her laptop. There had to be something. And then. A file. Encrypted. Archived. But with one keyword, it opened. And what she saw made her stomach turn. Her father, Thomas Carter, was not just back for custody. He was being investigated for fraud. Federal fraud. And guess who his original defense counsel was? Marcus Vell. Hailey's eyes widened. If this got out, everything could collapse. Not just the case. Marcus's reputation. Her father's freedom. The entire courtroom could turn upside down. She closed the laptop slowly. Looked at her mom. And whispered. I know how we win. But before she could say another word. A knock at the door. She opened it. And standing there. Was Marcus Vell. No smile. No briefcase. Just 2 words. We need to talk.